Well, who wants to be a Bitcoin, or what we like to refer to as a Digi Millionaire? Ladies and gentlemen, that is the objective of this training, is to reveal to you a believable path to you becoming a Digi Millionaire, leveraging our 5-step Digi Millionaire roadmap. Now listen, we know in this day and age that people have a very short attention span. What we want you to do is to clear off all distractions. Make sure you're watching this training on your best device, the device that allows you to see the screen very simply, to hear the audio portion as we're sharing, and also allows you to clear off all distractions. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Bitcoin, or this digital space, is a space that we must add to our portfolio. We're going to share with you in just a moment how $100 invested in Bitcoin in 2010 would be worth over $75 million today. I want you to think that through. If we had had the foresight, had we known what Bitcoin and what this space was going to do, and had we invested a mere $100 in Bitcoin, held on to it, it would be worth over $75 million today. Now, that's not just me saying that. That is the Washington Post reporting this. $100 worth of Bitcoin worth $75 million today. As a matter of fact, this is based on a Bitcoin price of $2,200. I'm going to show you as I'm doing this recording that Bitcoin is now going closer to $2,600. Now, here's what happened. Back in 2010, the very first Bitcoin transaction was 10,000 Bitcoins for 2 Papa John's pizzas. 10,000 Bitcoins for 2 Papa John's pizzas. Today, those pizzas, or those 10,000 Bitcoins, would be worth closer to $26 million. Could you imagine? Could you imagine a $30 pizza, or $30 in pizza, now being worth almost $26 million? So let's talk just a little about what Bitcoin is. If you happen to be new to Bitcoin, you know little to nothing about Bitcoin. For those of you that are already in the Bitcoin space, just stick with me here. Bitcoin, ladies and gentlemen, is a form of digital currency. It's created and it's held electronically. Here's the key point: no one controls it. So no government controls it, no Federal Reserve controls it, no big company controls it. And one of the big features of Bitcoin, and now other what they call alt currencies, as there are hundreds of these now in the marketplace, is that it is decentralized. And once again, what that means is there's no single institution that controls the Bitcoin network. And that's a really big deal when you understand some of the challenges that certain countries are having in terms of essentially the countries being bankrupt, and some corrupt governments that come in and basically seize people's bank accounts. Well, that's not going to happen in the Bitcoin world. Now, there are tons of merchants that are now accepting Bitcoin as a form of payment. Here's a site, giftgift.com, where you can purchase a number of gift cards, whether you are a donuts fan at Dunkin' Donuts or eBay or Lowe's or a myriad of other companies, where Gift takes Bitcoin. The reason that merchants love Bitcoin is it comes with far less fees. You know, every time someone swipes that credit card, the merchant is being charged by Visa or MasterCard. And so with Bitcoin, there are far less fees that the merchant has to deal with. The other thing is that merchants don't have to deal with fraud risk. Now, we've been in the home business industry since 1994, and we've seen a number of great companies, great concepts come and go because they were victims of fraud. Well, there is very little fraud risk when it comes to Bitcoin. So merchants love it. And then those that are using Bitcoin, they love it. Let me give you an example. Let's say, for instance, you live in the US and maybe you have an Amazon business and you want to source some products out of China. Well, if you were to go to your bank and do a wire transfer to your contacts there in China to get your products to put in your Amazon Fulfillment by Amazon store, you might encounter some issues with your bank. You know, $10,000, $20,000 you send outside of the U.S., I'm telling you right now, that could be an issue. You could actually even have your bank account all of a sudden gone because you were doing these international transactions. Well, ladies and gentlemen, when you're dealing with Bitcoin or other altcoins, what we call cryptocurrencies or digi currencies, I'll often refer to it as digi, you don't have to ask anybody's permission. If you want to send $10,000, $50,000, $1 million worth of Bitcoin, if you had it, for whatever transactions, you don't have to ask someone's permission to do so. All right, so let's get back to the topic at hand, which is to show you a believable path to you becoming a Digi Millionaire. Now, this report came out not long ago. It says that the Bitcoin price, or the price of Bitcoin, will hit $250,000 per coin by 2020. So the end of 2020, if the 7-year trend continues. Remember, in 2010, had you invested $100 in Bitcoin, in today's pricing, it would be worth well over $75 million. So this gentleman, Jameson Lopp, who happens to be a software engineer in the Bitcoin space, went back and he looked over a 7-year track record to see the average daily change in Bitcoin. Now, I want to blow it up here so you can see this, okay? So in 2010, for instance, on average, Bitcoin increased in price 0.82% per day. I want that to sink in for just a moment. I want you to compare that to what you're getting in your savings account on an annual basis. We're talking about per day. I want you to compare that with what you're getting in your mutual fund account. And even though the U.S. stock market has been reaching new highs seemingly on a weekly basis, that is nothing compared to what's happening in this Digi space. So what Jameson did is he went back and he looked 2011, 0.76% average value change on the positive. 2012. Look at 2013, my gosh, 1%, more than 1% a day on average. In the last 7 years, there's only been one losing year for Bitcoin. And so based on these numbers, Jameson is saying that if Bitcoin just does, by the end of 2020, what it has done the previous 7 years, then Bitcoin could be priced at $250,000 per coin. So here's a very quick, very simple way to get you to Digi Millionaire status. If Jameson is correct, if Bitcoin just does between now and the end of 2020 what it's done the last 7 years, you could be a Digi Millionaire if you just had 4 Bitcoins and you held on to them. Now, I'm giving you a very simple way to get to Digi Millionaire status. Let's take a look at just how explosive this entire Digi marketplace is. Now, what you're looking at is a chart. This comes from CoinDesk.com. And between April the 30th, 2017, and May the 10th, 2017, there was an explosion in the Digi space. Now, over to the left, you're going to see where it says asset. Now, these assets trade on exchanges, much like a stock trades on a stock exchange, and you can have a brokerage account, TD Ameritrade, Charles Schwab, and you can go in and buy and sell with your E-Trade account. Likewise, in the cryptocurrency, or what we like to refer to as the Digi currency, the Digi space, These assets trade in exchanges. In a few moments, I'm going to take you to an exchange. Now, these assets have a trading symbol. So in the U.S. stock market, Microsoft's trading symbol is MSFT. In the Digi space, Bitcoin's trading symbol is BTC or Bitcoin. And you will see that in less than 2 weeks, Bitcoin appreciated in value by 34% in less than 2 weeks. Now think this through. If your mutual fund account had a 34% year, if your retirement account had a 34% year, if your stock brokerage account had a 34% year, that would be a phenomenal year. This didn't happen in a year. This happened in less than 2 weeks. Now, many of you that are viewing this, you may not know a whole lot of Bitcoin, but you've probably at least heard of it. Most have not heard of Ripple. Ripple is another digital currency. And I'm not talking about the drink that Fred Sanford would drink. For those of you who remember Sanford and Son, he would always talk about Ripple. And if he got real bougie, he would mix some champagne with it and call it Champipple. We're not talking about that. We're talking about another digital currency. XRP Ripple was up 238% in less than 2 weeks. So many of us have heard of Bitcoin. Most of us probably hadn't heard of Ripple. And what about this one here called NEM? XEM is the trading symbol, up 123% in less than 2 weeks. And what about XLM, Stellar Lumens, up almost 500% in less than 2 weeks. Ladies and gentlemen, I do not care what you're doing now. Perhaps you're in marketing, maybe you're in nutrition, maybe you're in wellness, maybe you're in weight loss, maybe you're in whatever. You have to add Digi, Bitcoin, this entire space, this niche to your income producing portfolio. Okay, so let's talk about our 5-step Digi Millionaire roadmap. And you must understand this, that we've been in the marketing space since 1994. We've developed 5 7-figure businesses up to this point. And we have been actively trading in the financial markets, starting with the stock market and stock options back in 1999, gravitating to the Forex market in 2003, the binary options market. By the way, be very careful in that market. A lot of sharks in that water. And now the Digi market, the Bitcoin market. Okay, so here are our steps to get you to Digi Millionaire status. And I'm going to highlight a couple of these and really hone in on one of these in today's training. So we want you to participate in auto lending or auto trading. Now, this is a way that you don't have to know a lot about Bitcoin. Okay, you don't have to know how to trade or what have you. We're going to leverage systems that do that kind of stuff for us, and we're going to sit back and we're going to get the profits. Okay. Number 2, we're going to assist you in building a network of auto lenders. And we're not talking about automobiles. We're talking about an automated platform that allows you to lend Bitcoin to that platform and you earn daily interest. That's what we mean by auto lending as well as trading. Now, we're going to help you build a network of auto lenders or auto traders, because that's going to generate some commissions for you that you can then take and start growing your Digi asset base, as well as if you need to convert the Bitcoin, for instance, into cash to pay bills, you'll be able to do that as well. Number 3 is we want to immerse ourselves in Bitcoin education and perhaps even learn how to trade. Again, we've been trading in some form or fashion in the financial market since 1999. We actually had a gentleman that's been a part of our following, part of our marketing following, and little did we know that he had begun to build a fortune a fortune in the Bitcoin space by being a trader in Bitcoin. Now, he's taught us and is continuing to teach us what he has and is doing. And there's a few of our audience that were able to participate with him in a mentorship program. By the time you're seeing this, that program may have been closed down because he was only taking a few folks in that program. Now, I've been asked, since I've traded since 1999, would I consider opening up a trading room where we actually go into the markets and we trade in the Bitcoin space? I have not committed to doing that just yet, but it is something that I'm very open to if we have the numbers to facilitate that, to warrant that, having to take out that extra time to do so. Now, number 4 is we want to engage in a number of credible Digi opportunities. We don't want to put all of our eggs in any one basket. And then number 5, we want to develop a coin portfolio. So what I'm going to do in this training is I'm going to pick out a couple of these to show you just how explosive this marketplace is and how our game plan, how our roadmap can get you to Digi Millions. All right, so we talked about this just a few moments ago where we saw this explosive growth between April the 30th to May the 10th, less than 2 weeks. And we saw Bitcoin and we saw Ripple and we saw some of these other coins just explode in value. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you to a very important tool. It's a tool that we use every single day as we are immersed in this niche called CoinMarketCap.com. So let's go there real quickly. CoinMarketCap.com. Okay. All right. So now I'm here now, and I want you to see I'm actually recording this on, you'll see here, July the 4th. Okay. CoinMarketCap.com. Now, what we're going to do is let me refresh the screen real quickly. This will give us a better updating on the prices. All right. So now, on July the 4th, as I'm recording this, you'll see that Bitcoin is going for $2,578.76. Now, I want to show you just how explosive the growth has been in this space. By the way, as I scroll up, you'll see that on this site alone, there are 801 different digital currencies. 801 different digital currencies. And what CoinMarketCap does on this home page is you will see the biggest of the big. Okay. So for instance, Bitcoin has a market cap. Well, what the heck does that mean? Well, if you take the circulating supply, how many Bitcoins are out there in the marketplace now, multiply it times the current market price of Bitcoin, then you would come up with the market cap, okay? All right, so now there are over 800 of these currencies just listed on CoinMarketCap, and this is what we want to do. I want to show you, let's play the what if game, So here we go. So right now, Bitcoin is going for $2,578. Let's bring it over here, $2,578.76, okay? Now, let's go back in time and let's see what Bitcoin was going for roughly this time last year. Now, I'm recording this on July the 4th, 2017. All right, so I've opened up another CoinMarketCap window. Okay, and I tell you what, let's go back here on the home page, and I want to show you how you can actually even do this on your own. So I'm back at CoinMarketCap.com, the home page, and I'm going to go under where it says Tools, and then I'm going to click where it says Historical Snapshots. Now, what I want to do is I want to look at what were prices about this time last year. We're going to scroll down, and we're going to look for 2016, and we're going to look for someplace close to July the 4th. And here you can see July the 3rd. Here's the 2016 here. July the 3rd right here. We're going to left click, and this is going to let us know what prices were a year ago. All right, in this case, a year and a day ago. Okay, so we're going to use these two tabs right now. And so right now, Bitcoin is going for $2,578.76. Well, what was it going for this time last year? All right, we're going to subtract out the purchase price this time last year. All right, so what was it going for this time last year? It was going for $689.28. Now look at that. $689 this time last year, $25.78 as I'm recording this on July the 4th. So we're going to subtract out the price of last year to come up with the profit per Bitcoin. So had you had one Bitcoin back on July the 3rd, 2016, and you just held onto it, that one Bitcoin would have increased in value $1,889.48. Now, what we're going to do is we want to determine what type of return this would have been. We're going to divide that by what we would have purchased it for this time last year, 689.28. And this is going to tell us that we would have had, you move your decimal 2 places to the right, you would have had a 274% profit, a 274% return. Now I'm going to put that in our memory and we're going to play the what if game. What if you had $1,000 invested in Bitcoin a year ago and you weren't trading it, you just bought it, forgot about it, came back a year later, your $1,000 worth of Bitcoin would have increased by 2.74 times, or your $1,000 in Bitcoin would have made $2,741 per Bitcoin. Now that's on top of your original $1,000. So your $1,000 adding to that would be worth $3,741 worth of Bitcoin. Now you don't have to know a lot about Bitcoin to know that if you had $1,000 sitting in your bank in a checking account or a savings account, it would not be worth $3,741 today. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is what could have happened had you known to do that this time last year. Now, here's the thing. If we had known to do this, and we had invested $1,000 into each of the top 10 coins from last year, what we would have found is that Bitcoin is actually the worst performer of the other 9 that are in the top 10. Let's do this a couple of times here, okay? Let's do this a couple of times. Let's go back and let's look at Ripple. Let's look at Ripple, okay? So here's Ripple, not the drink that Fred Sanford drank, okay? Ripple right now is going for, and again, you can see this, July the 4th, all right? All right, so Ripple is going for roughly 25 cents, 0.256294, all right? That is current pricing. Let's go back a year ago. Okay? So a year ago, Ripple was going for less than a penny. It was going for 0.6 of a penny. So we're going to subtract out the 0.6 of a penny. Again, I want to show you a believable path to you becoming a Digi Millionaire. Okay? And so the profit on Ripple is just under 25 cents per coin. Now, if we take this and divide it, the profit, divide it by what we could have purchased it for this time last year, 0.006690. Now, keep in mind that with Bitcoin, your Bitcoin asset would have grown by 2.74 times, 274%. Okay? Look at this. Your Ripple would have grown by 37 times. Look at this. If you had $1,000 that you had invested in Ripple and you just walked away and you came back a year later, it would be up 37 times or your $1,000, I'm sorry, I did that wrong. Your $1,000 would have grown by $37,000, ladies and gentlemen. Numbers never lie. And this has been happening underneath our noses, and most of us, including myself, knew nothing about this, ladies and gentlemen. As a matter of fact, if you had the wherewithal to have invested $1,000 into each of the top 10 coins of last year, ladies and gentlemen, now I did these numbers about 2 weeks ago, and these numbers do change because the prices change. Your $10,000 or $1,000 times the 10 coins would be worth over $268,000. So, ladies and gentlemen, had you had $4,000 into each of the top 10 coins, $40,000, I know most people don't have $40,000 right now. All right. Our game plan is to get you to where you do have that. All right. But had you had $40,000 parked, $4,000 into each of the top 10 coins, and you just forgot about it, you would have come back a year later and you would have been a Digi Millionaire. Again, I want you to walk away saying, I too deserve and can become a Digi Millionaire. Now, what I want to do, let's just revisit real quickly our 5 steps. Let's just revisit these very quickly, okay? I'm going to start to talk about the auto lending platform, because this is the way that you can start generating Digi profits in as little as 24 hours. Hopefully we've got your attention by now. What I just talked about was number 5. Ultimately, we want to help you to develop your own coin portfolio of some of the top Digi assets in the marketplace. Okay? All right, so now let's go to work here. Let's go back here to CoinMarketCap. CoinMarketCap. All right, and I want to now start to talk about a specific way that you can start developing Digi profits in as little as 24 hours. All right, so on CoinMarketCap, you see these coins and their market capitalization. All right. Obviously, right now, Bitcoin is the big poobah, $42 billion in market cap. Ethereum will probably catch Bitcoin in the next few months. It's at $25 billion. And then you'll have ones that's in the several hundreds of billions of dollars. Now, our trading mentor, our Digi trading mentor, again, he's a gentleman who's been following us for years in marketing, and little did we know that he was building a fortune inside of this Digi space. And so one of the things that I asked him when I saw he was building his own Digi portfolio, how do you determine what coins you want to put in your portfolio? And so one of the things he said is, well, I like to follow the money. I like to see and I like to focus on maybe the top 25 or maybe the top 30 coins on CoinMarketCap and start my research there. Because if there's something that's got $42 billion in market cap or $1.3 billion in market cap or $413 million in market cap or $279 million in market cap, that's probably an indicator that there's some smart people behind this that have parked some funds in that particular currency. Well, good day. We hope that you have enjoyed part 1 of today's training, sponsored by CRB, Click Rank and Bank, and Digi Millionaires. Now listen, this first part was designed to wake you up as to how big this Bitcoin niche, this Digi niche is. In part 2, I want to make sure again that you have set aside this time, that you clear off everything, no distractions. In part 2, I'm going to show you a coin that had you had the presence of mind, had you known about it, I didn't know about it then, had you had the presence of mind to park $1,000 in that coin, January of 2017, by July of 2017, your $1,000 could have been over $300,000. Remember, numbers never lie. So I'm going to show you that in part 2. And even though we can't go back and park $1,000 in that coin at January's pricing of 16 cents a coin, now that coin is well over $50. That model allows us to assist you in developing Digi profits in as little as 24 hours from now. So maybe you need to take a quick stretch break. Maybe you need to go and take a bathroom break. Go on and do that. Come back, watch part 2 so we can get you to generating Digi profits in as little as 24 hours and ultimately get you to Digi, my gosh, millionaire status. We'll see you on training number 2.